Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, from wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's sharing of Harmonize to Energize. I hope you're all having a good day. I hope it's been a peaceful and joyful week. And as I said in the email, today I'm looking at the whole feeling, the whole experience of Thanksgiving. I know different countries, or at least Canada, will celebrate Thanksgiving a little earlier than America, and probably other cultures, countries do have their own format or form of Thanksgiving. I don't know. I haven't actually checked all the different countries, but I wanted to just explore that and give you an opportunity to think of something, just one thing, that you're extremely grateful for. And it's normally the first thing you think of. And so if you haven't thought of it, the first thing you think of that you're grateful for right now, that's it. But before we begin, a warm welcome to anyone who's new today. And we're going to practice self-help JIN SHIN JYUTSU as well as reflect on this whole experience of Thanksgiving. And JIN SHIN JYUTSU is an art of harmonizing life energy, sometimes called chi or ki, as it moves through our bodies via what we call safety energy locks, which allow that energy to move up and down, left and right, through energy channels, which are numerous and cover the whole landscape of the body, some longer than others. And these safety energy locks, as I say, they're tuning, they're allowing the energy or not to move harmoniously through these energy channels. Those of you that are familiar with or are acupuncturists know these energy channels to be meridians. So the language may be slightly different with JIN SHIN JYUTSU, but the concepts are the same. Allowing energy to move harmoniously, congruently, whichever word you feel happy with, through the body. And that energy is feeding our cells and therefore our organs, our nervous system, all aspects of our being actually, to begin that process of balancing and harmonizing. So when I looked at Thanksgiving, the word, I thought of synonyms like gratitude and be grateful. And it drew me to what I'm going to begin to explore in a few weeks, what Mary says. That's the progression that I want to move towards in the future as we explore Mary's thoughts, her collections, her perceptions, not always actually hers, but phrases and sayings that she had read and were meaningful to her. And we'll look at that energetically, because we can talk all day about the words, but it's the experience, I believe, that's most meaningful to our total being in the end. That's what can help us transform if we want to. So don't worry if you don't have one thing that you can be grateful for. Often you have more than one, and maybe you don't. And maybe in this moment, you may be struggling to think of something to be grateful for. And I always look at two sides of a coin with the whole approach to our experiences. There's the potential to be grateful, and there's the potential to not feel that gratitude. And so I look at, well, maybe we can forgive ourselves and others, or whatever the situation is, to allow a feeling, a perception, or a discernment which allows us to feel gratitude. Because I would say most of you, you may disagree, prefer to feel peaceful, joyful, happy, and to a large extent grateful. If I'm wrong, raise your hand. I may be for some of you. You may come from a very different perspective on that. But anyway, by and large, I don't experiment with words and numbers because it's not something that I personally was drawn to when I was studying JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And then I did a few classes with Wayne Hackett and Carlos Gutierrez and some other teachers. And one of the things that they would do was transcribe letters or words into numbers to give us a sense of the vibrational quality of words, how it affects us. And, there's a biblical phrase, I'm not promoting any particular kind of religion here or anything, but there is a phrase that says, in the beginning, not at, in the beginning was the word. So arguably letters were there in the beginning. Maybe numbers were too, I don't know. But transcribing letters to numbers in terms of their alphabetical position, the 1 to 26, certainly in the European alphabet, gives you a number which can be translated through your understanding of the science of numerology and the tarot, different qualities. So I wrote down, although I can't find the piece of paper I actually wrote it down on, what Thanksgiving actually came to in terms of vibration with numbers. But I do remember what it came to because it struck me that both the word Thanksgiving and gratitude both added up to a 6. I then switched to grateful, and that added up to a 9. Now, for those of you that are Jimi Hendrix fans, you might remember a song called If 6 Turned Out to Be 9. I don't mind. One's upside down. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that kind of detail, but it led me to look at the vibration of number 6. And Mary, of course, talks about it in Self-Help Book 2, for those of you that have copies. Those of you that don't, I've given you a little indication where you can get one in the chat room. And we know the number 6 safety energy locks is, both of them, left and right, are in the instep of the foot. And Mary talked about it came into the universe meaning balance and discrimination. So sometimes, when we're looking for harmony, we're actually looking for balance. And sometimes when we're looking, if we're not feeling gratitude, maybe we need to discern a little bit more and ask ourselves, is it really something, can I find some gratitude in this? Because I would say every situation that we're in, there is the possibility of being grateful for it if we discriminate enough. I think you're all with me. I get that feeling. We learn through experience as we move through our journey in life that not everything that perhaps feels a little awkward or challenging is something that we should immediately dismiss and not be grateful for. It's terrible. How could that happen to me? Why did this happen? It's not fair. And then the whole process of feeling peaceful about the situation is gone. So Waltraud, in her book of cards, those of you that are familiar with Waltraud Rieger-Krause, The Health is in Your Hands, I think Mark used those when he was giving his presentation. Can't remember. I think you did, didn't you, Mark? Anyway, I thought today I would look at both what Mary said, what she suggested we would practice to experience that 6 quality, and what Waltraud said too. She, of course, talked about balance and discrimination. And, she said, I am grounded and balanced. Discriminating and seeing clearly overcomes fear. I stand upright in life. And often when we're not grateful, it's because like I said, we feel challenged or frightened or you could say negative response or a different response than joy towards an experience. And then she goes on to say, Safety Energy Lock 6, bringing balance into our lives and helps us to recognize and obey universal laws. She says breathing in and out. Of course, in Jin Shin, we begin with the out, but it doesn't matter if you breathe in before you breathe out, just emphasize the out. As well as masculine and feminine energies, breathing in and out, as well as masculine and feminine energies, must be in balance. True to the adage, you reap what you sow. Our love is reciprocated in the same way we have expressed it. So, when we exhale and we let go, we've given out in order to build something new. And then we receive, almost like a reward, more cosmic purified energy on the inhale. Now, I would argue, or I would say that at that point, maybe we're not always thinking about how grateful I am that I have the breath of life, that I can allow things through energetic channels to release in order to build something new, and then fill myself up again with cosmic purified energy. How wonderful is that? Maybe we don't. I don't know. Maybe a few of you are going to say, well, yeah, that's what I'm grateful for, the life force in my life and how it creates or unfolds my life. I remember reading in one of Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings, the great yogi that came to the West back in the early 20s, maybe even before that, he stated in one of his books, the only thing that the generator, operator, destroyer, God for short, needs more of us in this universe is our love. The God does not get enough acknowledgement. And that could be because we're so used to experience our life in certain ways, we don't always reflect on how is this? What's going on here? Some of you may say, oh, I do it all the time. But then are we looking for the best in every situation? Are we looking for the worst, or are we neutral? None of that's wrong, by the way, but underlying that, are we filled with a sense of awe, perhaps, of the greatness of this universe? Do we look out at the stars and go, wow? Or do we look at the mud? I think there's a phrase of looking out of a prison, one prisoner sees the universe of stars and the other one sees the mud. So that's that balance again and that discrimination. What are we really grateful for? And if we're not grateful, what could we be grateful for? And how could we learn to accept more in our life with an attitude of gratitude? Most of us, when we talk about attitudes, we're talking about harmonizing the 5, worry, fear, anger, sadness, and the try-twos. But they do have an overall envelope which brings them into congruency, and that might be gratitude, that might be balance, that might be harmony, neutral, if you like. So when I've been teaching the 4 sets of 9 breaths, there we are, that number 9, meaning end of a cycle, beginning of a new, I began by teaching everyone that in Mary Burmeister's understanding, energy moves from Safety Energy Lock 4 down the front of the body through Safety Energy Lock 15 to Safety Energy Lock 7, the big toe, and then from 7 back up through 15 and 2, back up to 4. And, when you look at the qualities of those safety energy locks, they're pretty expansive, I think. 4, number 4, the measuring intelligence, the window that brings in more light. Hey, who wants more light? I do. And then it moves down through the body, through the safety energy locks to safety energy lock 15, filling our hearts with joy and laughter. That's something to be grateful for, I think. And then it moves down to 7, victory, perfect life power. Well, that's victory, perfect life power. What does perfect life power mean? Well, we've progressed, we've been on a journey, and we've established that we have the ability to allow energy to go from head to toe, which shows us that our life power is whole, I believe. And then it moves up the back, up the back of the, up the ankle, up the back of the legs, through the hip line, through the 2, which is wisdom, life force for all creatures. Hey, what's wrong with that? So I think when we reflect and discern these safety energy locks and we look at sayings and understandings, maybe there are reasons to be cheerful. As Ian Dury of the Ian Dury and the Blockheads once said, his song, Reasons to be Cheerful, part 3. There's more reasons to be cheerful when we discern, I believe, than we realize. So what I'm going to suggest is that we go through our 4 sets of 9 and we begin with that 4, 15, 7 idea, and then 7, 15, 2, 4, down the front, up the back. And then we're going to move into practicing how we can release the vibration of 6, balance, with Mary's particular practices, which gives us our 36 breaths in total. And I just want to say, for anybody who didn't think of something to be grateful for, forgive yourself. Because as you open the 4s, it gives you the opportunity to forgive, forget, get more light on the situation. And you may see, after you do these practices, a reason to be cheerful or grateful for maybe one or more things. Okay, next idea. Are you all still with me, or am I? Just wave. Okay, so if you have a thought at this point, bus line 4, something about gratitude, as we do these practices, let it sink in to your inner world, into your consciousness, whether it's grateful for the fact that your cat came up to you and licked your hand, or purred at you, looked at you, anything. It was the sun came out amidst the rain. Maybe you love rain. Maybe you love thunderstorms. I do. Don't let your mind get caught up in squaring what is and what should never be. There are things that are more harmonious than others, but just at this point, allow yourself to discern and don't feel bad if what you're grateful for doesn't feel immediately something you would normally feel grateful for. Watch the energy, observe where you feel in your body as we go through these practices with that concept of gratitude. And as I said, those that haven't thought of anything, maybe you will as we go on. Okay, let's begin. I talk too much. Let's sit up as straight as we can. If you're laying down, that is fine. If you're standing, that's fine. But if you can, keep yourself as straight as possible, your back. And if you need a cush to support your back, put a cush behind your back and against your chair or whatever to give your spine a chance to be as straight as possible. All right. And with your hands, you know, you can just lay them in those 15s in the groin. for anybody that's new, it's here in the groin. You can do that. For those of you that are familiar where the safety energy locks are that we're going to be working with, you will know that they reside between the little and the ring finger. So if you wish, you can hold the little and ring finger. No judgment here. Discern and decide for yourself. And as we allow the energy to go down, I want you to particularly notice how glued or not, or how balanced or not you feel with your instep to the earth. The 6 coming before the 7 there, and then connecting to Mother Earth. Just observe how that 6 feels on this particular practice. All right, let's close our eyes. Stun your telephones, cell phones. See if you can avoid being distracted. Close your eyes. No particular way of breathing out through the mouth, nose, in through the mouth, nose, whatever becomes natural or is natural to you. Drop your shoulders. And if a smile is arising from within you, smile. If not, just go with what is. It is what it is. And here we go. And we're going to breathe down from the 4 all the way down through the 15, through the 6 to the 7. We're going to pause a little bit, and then we're going to inhale, bring that energy back up through those safety energy locks 9 times. For what we're about to receive, may we be truly grateful. Here we go. So we're letting go of the dirt, dust, and greasy grime, that which we don't need. Allowing the energy to filter through those energy locks, connecting us to the earth, to balance. And then naturally receiving on the inhale, receiving the breath. And that receptivity going all the way up the back to the 4 again, to begin again 8 more times. 4, 15, 6, 7, 7, 6, all the way back up, 15, 2, 4. And as you receive, just reflect on what your gratitude is about. If it is about anything. So noticing perhaps an area in your body which may feel restricted. It's okay. Just allow the energy to move through it. It is what it is. And receive that cosmic energy. Noticing how you feel and where you feel in your energy field, in your being. You're emptying out in order to build something new. And almost like a reward, you're given the opportunity to bring in more light, even more light. Head to toe, skin to bone, bone to skin, toe to head. The energy is spiraling in a positive direction. Thank you for the sound effects. All right, as you come to the final, or at least the 9th exhale, inhale of this particular practice. Yeah, if you can mute yourself, whoever that is. You've reached that 9 space, and my translation was that the word grateful adds up to 9. So let's see how that feels. Where are we feeling? What are we feeling? Maybe we're not feeling. Bless you. Just notice. No judgment. Just discern. Maybe you are feeling more balanced. Maybe you are feeling more grateful. Our emotions generally we feel in the heart center. So maybe observe how you're feeling there. But generally, overall. And anyone that didn't have anything they felt grateful for, if you suddenly found something wonderful, we're now going to begin the second set of 9 exhalation inhalations. And this is where we're going to look at what Mary teaches in Self-Help Book 2. And Safety Energy Lock number 6 can be harmonized by holding the middle finger. All right. So you can hold the middle finger like this, left or right. You can do a little bit of investigation, see which segment may be a little tighter than the others. And you can hold there if you wish, or just hold the whole finger. Place in that groin area, central 15 pube area in the groin, number 15, filling our hearts with joy and laughter. And then we'll do 9 exhalation inhalations, holding the middle finger. Here we go. Feel that connection with the earth beneath you as you move, as the energy moves down through the 6 and 7 and to the earth. And receive the breath on the inhale. And so the universe abhors a vacuum. We're always being filled with something. Are we grateful to receive from that 9th depth space, the no thing, the vacuum? Middle finger can also represent the main central, the body, the light body coming into form, The spine. Maybe we can be grateful that we have the possibility to harmonize through the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU just by simply holding the finger. And maybe even simpler than that, we could be grateful for the fact that we have the ability to breathe, the breath. Simple. And as we give, through the exhale to build, we receive even more. Cosmic law. I've heard people sing songs called "I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day." I wonder why. Perhaps it is Christmas every day. We're just not always aware of it. And then when you come to the 9th exhalation, inhalation, just slip into gratefulness, number 9, 9th depth space within and without you. And observe once more what you're feeling. Feelings generally become or come before your thoughts. If you had something to be grateful for, how are you feeling about that now? Has your discernment expanded, your wisdom, your understanding of the gratefulness about that? Or not? In Self-Help Book 2, Mary then guides us to hold our 15s and our safety energy lock 3. For those of you not familiar, safety energy lock number 3 is just off the 3rd thoracic vertebrae on the spine at the back there, and 15 is here. And you can hold left, which encourages an exhale, or right, which encourages an inhale. And see which side. Just feel around, see which side where the safety energy lock is. Does it feel fuller one side than the other? Mary always favoured working with fullness over emptiness, which is interesting because we empty ourselves before we become full. But when she was treating us, it was go for the pulse that feels full. Is it a contradiction? I don't know. The shiatsu people work with the emptiness. It is what it is. Here we go. 9 exhalation inhalations. Feel the connection to the earth beneath. Mother Earth nurturing us, offering us that ability to remain balanced and connected to the ground, to allow our heavenly energies above the head and below to meet the earthly energies below the waist, and then to move back from earth dimension to the above the head dimension, heavenly. Receiving cosmic, all embracing, 360 degrees purified energy. Purified. How does that feel? And for some people, they may have emotional responses that feel slightly uncomfortable as the energy goes through different layers, like peeling the layers of an onion. That's okay. Breathe through it. Discern. It's a feeling. And it too can pass. Okay, as you come to the 9th exhalation, inhalation, this is all in your own time. Don't worry if I've gone a little quicker than you or I'm behind you. Just move into that, be flexible, move into that 9th depth experience. See how your shoulder and your 3 area and your 15 are feeling. And relax and just observe. Maybe you've reached a point where your thinking has become very peaceful, very expanded, and you're no longer aware of the left and right side of your body. You may be just aware of the oneness. You could think of that in terms of being represented by the 6th depth. Spine, there's that number 6 again, down the front, up the back. But it's just the spine, it's that oneness before it splits into left and right. Or maybe not. I'm always grateful when I do arrive there, because all the thoughts have dissipated. Well, most of them. So congratulate yourself wherever you are in your process, your journey at this point, and give yourself a hug. And we're going to do our last set of 9. Thumbs underneath the shoulder girdle, fingers against the side of the shoulder blade. Safety energy lock 26, all complete, and safety energy lock 22, connecting us with 144,000 special function energy in the body. And our hands here at the bust line, heart level, the thought level. Breathe out and in for 9. Here we go. And at the 9th exhalation, inhalation, again, just witness how you feel, where you feel, if you do. And at 9, resonating with the word grateful. 36, 3 and 6, 9. For what we have received, perhaps we are truly grateful. And may we be truly grateful. I always used to have to say that before I ate a meal at school in England. What I am about to receive. And looky here, we have 24 participants. 2 and 4 is 6. Seems like that number is hanging around for a good reason, giving us balance, discernment, discrimination. So, with that, did that give anybody some sense of how the choice of words, and in particular on this occasion, Thanksgiving to come, celebration of next week. By the way, I won't be here next week. There will be an H2E. You may be grateful for no, seriously speaking, I'm taking a break for Thanksgiving. But did anyone want to say anything about if they noticed any difference when they allowed their thought of gratitude, their feeling of gratitude, their experience of gratitude to join with the breath, the word, your thoughts becoming the words, becoming the deeds, allowing that to percolate through them? Did it make a difference? Have you done this anyway? What's new? It didn't make any difference. What's the, does anyone want to raise their hand and unmute themselves? If not, that's fine too. Ah, there you go, Mark.
Well, I can speak. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think breathing with those thoughts and the energy lock holds help bring it to a more heightened level of awareness. And also, I was thinking of the number 24, which is one of my key numbers. I was born on the 24th of January, so I often connect with little bits of wisdom with the number 24. Years ago, I wrote a small article for the Main Central publication talking about the number 24, and the focus was on the numerical value of the word gap. And as our British friends are familiar with the phrase, mind the gap.
You've been on the underground.
The word gap comes to the number 24. And with your mind at the gap or in the gap, that is that state of balance, is how I read it. And when you asked about what we're grateful for, things quickly went through my mind: family, community, warm home, nice place, good work. But also it came through that I have the knowledge, sometimes not that great, but enough knowledge to learn to follow what is balance. What is that balance? Well, number 6 is balance. So gap, 24, 6, balance. And I find that that is my compass on my journey in this lifetime, is to find balance. It can be among everything. If I've been busy with people all week, then my balance is to pull back and have some quiet time, alone time, or just kind of chill out for a while. And it goes with everything, of course, balance.
Beautiful. That is exquisite.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Those of you that may remember, Mark came on a couple of months back and I got a lot of messages. Bring him back. Okay, Mark, new year.
I'll be ready.
Yeah, bring you back. We'll bring you back. Thank you. That was exquisite.
Do you want a quick idea I have about the word thank?
About the word what?
Thank.
Think.
Thank, like Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank. Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, it's a stretch, but in the old Egyptian world, the Ankh is the symbol, one of their symbols of life. And I'm thinking when people thank someone, it's really a gesture of a blessing. Thank you. We just automatically say thank you, or in German it's danke. Still there's that Ankh in there. And I'm thinking like in the Hebrew world or Jewish world, it's l'chaim, to life. So I think that the word thank is a expression of blessing, bless you. Someone does you a favor or gives you something, you say thank you. But I think that means blessing. So we're at Thanksgiving, we're really counting our blessings.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I totally get that. So you see, folks, we can expand our understanding, Mark there with numbers, and then the relationship to the Ankh from Egypt. There are possible relationships to gratitude, synonyms, numbers throughout the universe. They probably all conspire to bless us at one level or another.
Yes.
You know, that's probably, if there is a conspiracy, folks. Any conspiracy theorists here? If there is one, it is to bless us, to expand us, to have us connect to our hearts. And as Yogananda said, God doesn't get enough of our love, so let's give it out. Let's bring it more. Is there anybody else who'd like to say anything? I'm just clicking through. Anybody raising their hand? Tom, do you want to say anything? No?
Come on, there's so much wisdom with all of you. Surely,
Go
share
on, Tom.
something.
Go on.
Okay, I will share something that I've been doing lately,
Yeah.
and that is from the old touch for health to strengthen a muscle. You put your fingertips at the end of the muscle and bring them to the center. To stretch that muscle or relax it, you put your fingertips in the center and you move to the ends. And so you can relax, for example, a hamstring and strengthen a quadricep if you want to walk without pulling a hamstring. And it's good for athletes. It's from the old applied kinesiology.
Would you
Okay.
repeat that?
Yeah, I mean, Tom, do you want to actually let me
see if I can get, oh, is my camera on?
show everybody what you were saying using your arm?
Okay. If you go to the ends of the muscle and come to the center, you strengthen it. If you go to the center and you go to the ends, you weaken or stretch it.
Wow.
It releases the Golgi receptors in the tendons so it can stretch.
Interesting.
Beautiful.
Around safety energy lock 19.
And PNF stretching is a good thing to do also.
What did you say?
PNF,
I don't know what that is.
proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation stretching.
Oh, right. Okay. You got me there. Yeah.
Google PNF stretching.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing there. And you know, folks, that's it in a nutshell. We're sharing something that's meaningful to us. All right. And I'm always grateful. I always learn from these classes, whether it's hearing from you when you present, or whether it's hosting the webinars when the instructors present. So from my heart to your heart, thank you all for coming on board with Harmonize to Energize. And someone has asked again in the chat room, will there be one next Friday? No. I saw if I checked in with Beth, who jumps in for me when she can, and she's celebrating over the 2-day period for Thanksgiving. So we're going to take a break. I'm going to be up in the pines, in the trees with some dogs and a friend, and it's going to be chilly, but I am grateful for the experience. So I want to wish you all, wherever you are in the world, the Thanksgiving blessing. And let's just end, we got 3 minutes. Let's just offer each other, you can do this, the thumb to thumb and the little finger pointing round, connect together in our circle and have in your heart a sense of connection with the whole group, thanking all of us for sharing our wisdom, for sharing our energy to expand our consciousness, to allow us to grow and be in this light, this wisdom, this harmony, this balance. So just allow the light to project through your jumper cables, coming in through the solar plexus, up through your arms and through your hands, to everybody in the circle. Okay, so for what I have received from you all, I am truly grateful. And here we all are, those of you that have got your camera on, I can see you. So thank you once more. And there you go, Mary. Yeah, John, David, Mary, Anna, Diane, Pat, Margaret, Alda, Susan, Yvonne, Shari, iPhone, Anna Testage from Holland. I don't think I've seen you on here before, Anna. Are you not going to show yourself? And then we got Mark and Tom up there, Rita, Joe, Susan, John, Susan, another Susan, yeah. All right, so thank you, everybody. Really have a wonderful rest of the day, whatever you're doing, weekend, week. And, you know, we celebrate Thanksgiving, yes, next Thursday, stroke Friday, Black Friday. Oh, just before, I forget something. Let me share something with you all before we go. First, there's a class coming up. That's not it. No, I don't know where it went. Okay, let's do this. There is a sale the JIN SHIN JYUTSU office are having a Black Friday sale, November the 21st to November the 25th, 25% off of all retail items. Click here to shop. Call the office 480-998-9331 if you want to take advantage of that. That takes us to the material expression of Thanksgiving on the Friday. So I won't be around. I won't be buying anything either. I will be looking at pines and walking dogs and watching Harry Potter videos. But in the meantime, I wish you all a very, very happy. Let's all be grateful. Let's experiment with that feeling of gratitude. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Yeah.